Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So there are a couple of more things with the enumerated data type, but let me tell you one more thing. Non-composite data types include enumerated data types, subranges, and the third one are actually primitive or built-in data types, right? Dude. Now look, this goes all the way back to these, right? Why? Because you see, built-in data types or primitive data types are primary data types, so they have to be non-composite, and they are, right? So that is another one more thing. I said we were going to start records, but not now because there is a little bit more work left with enumerated data types. Now that you have learned how to make this data type, how do you use it in pseudocode? Let me write it in here. Usage in pseudocode. Okay. So let me make something. And I said that, you know what, let's do it. Now, what I'm doing in here, let's say if I was to make an enumerated data type to hold, the times of the times of the day, I'm going to do it this way. And moreover, right now, you know why I write type? Because I'm not making a list. I'm not making a list. I am rather creating a data type, right? So type. And then remember I told you that normally these things have a T on the top. In the beginning, the variable name, I called it the variable name, yeah? Or the data type name. This is the reason why they have a T in the beginning. Because they're not actually variables. I just wrote it so that I can make it easier for you to make you understand, right? But there is a T over there just so that, just because these are actually types. These are actually data types, right? We are actually creating a data type. So type T, and then I write, T times of, or let's just not write T, let's write times of day, and that would be morning, afternoon, and let's say, you know what, let me just do this, evening. That's it. Okay. Now, how do you use it? First, obviously, to use it inside of a variable, to use any of these values inside of a variable, the very first thing that you must do is create a variable. Obviously, you've got to declare it, right? So how do you declare a variable? You write declare, you write the name of the variable, let's say time. We are going to call it time, right? And then we write the data type. And the data type is what? Times of day. This is the data type name. Times of day. And now inside of this variable, we can store any value out of these three. Out of these three. So I'm going to write time and we're going to assign to it a value. Let's say morning, right? This is, oh, sorry, no full stop. This is how you do it. And like I said, do not try to put quotation marks because these are unique values, right? These are not strings or anything like that. These are treated as literals. We call them literals. Now, why do we really have to do all of this? Because obviously in pseudocode, we might need to use it later on, and a example of this could be, let's say I'm writing pseudocode, I'll write if, time is equal to afternoon, then, you know, or output, let's not write print, output. Now this is a string, sleep, you know, else output work. So in the morning and the evening, you're going to work, right? And in the night as well, I just generate enough values. And in the afternoon, you're going to sleep, right? And then you end the if, end it, right? That's it. Literally. That's it. So this was just an example, right? On how you may have to use it. But normally, usually you're not going to need this part, the one I just scared. What you're actually going to need are these three lines. Okay. These are the important stuff. I'm just going to make a star right next to it. So you make the data type and then you use the data type as the data type of a variable once you create or declare a variable. And then you can store a value inside of that, and the only values that you can store inside of this variable that you just made are from these, the ones that you have made in here, right? So that was more about the implementation of enumerated data types in real life kind of pseudocode or implementation, right? In the next one, in the next lecture, we're going to learn about composite data types, its definition, and records. Then we're going to move on to sets, and then finally pointers, and then we're going to be done with it, inshallah ta'ala.